opportunity. They have a lot of recruits on the sidelines here at Cincinnati tonight, so you know he wants to impress the national audience, but more importantly, the guys that he has in as recruits right now.
Underway, and Vaughn Rivers returns the kick from Kevin Lovell. Bearcats cover him at the 20, return of 18. And Pat White will make his second collegiate start. His first could hardly have been more impressive last week against UConn. He engineered an easy win, was effective through the air, and Craig was at times spectacular on the ground. He's got a burst that you really have to see to appreciate.
But you and I, we've talked about it. The best play he made last week was once a reverse field by one of the ball carriers, and he came back and crack blocked somebody on defense, and the bench erupted.
People are already saying that may be the signature play of his career, and he's just getting started. Option, Slayton looks to turn the corner, gets about 6 out of it. As we look at the West Virginia starters along with White, you just saw Slayton, Jallow, Miles, Renaud, and Bailey, who was out with an ankle last week, returns healthy tonight at tight end. Up front, Garrett, Stanchek, Moses, Sheffy, and Justice. This is the top rushing attack in the Big East, and among the best in the country. At about 239 yards per game. A flag and whistles before they come to the line on second down, and what will be about 3.
Number 76 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Dan Moses is flagged by Dennis Hennigan, our referee tonight. Defensively, Anthony Hoke gets a start. They move him between the line and linebackers. He's at end tonight with Newton, Bird, and Roberts. Smith, McCullough, Craig are the linebacking core, and in the secondary, Horton, Ross, Nakamura, and Mickens. Mickens, one of their 5 true freshman starters on this side of the ball, second in the nation in passes defensed per game. Slayton tries to reverse field. Disastrous decision by Steve Slayton. They will mark his progress at the 11.
Well, there's good coaching right there. Cincinnati smelled that out. A little screen out to the outside, really trying to get Slayton on the outside with his speed. But you'll notice that the Bearcats defense, look at all the black shirts getting across the line of scrimmage. They're not allowing the block out to occur from the inside with the blockers. So good recognition of not getting it stuck at home and blown up on the outside.
Loss of 10, 3rd and 18. And more flags. Cincinnati has a defender very late coming off the field. Angelo Craig, the sophomore linebacker.
Illegal substitution. Number 82 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Well, D'Antonio's plan to start Craig, not play him long, and sure enough, as he tries to hustle off the field on 3rd and 18, they get flagged for the substitution violation, so now 3rd and 13.
Young defense, but a defense that will play with aggression.
10 freshmen on the 22-man defensive 2 deep for the Bearcats. They've gotten a little bit better every week. Quarterback draw, White out in space where he is most dangerous, and he picks up the first down and about 4 yards to spare. 17 yards.
Well, one of the things that quarterbacks have to have today is the ability to get out of the pocket and not happen with their arms but with their legs. Pat White last week has shown on game film at least, and Cincinnati's been aware of it, his ability to break the containment and go. He's fast. There's different angles you'll have to take. He's deceptive fast with his speed. He's not like Steve Slayton, but he can run.
So they overcome a 3rd and 18. And have a 1st and 10 at their 33. And a big fullback, Owen Schmidt, who was a little banged up last week. Very effective against UConn, but bruised a thigh on one of his first couple of carries in that game. Slayton coming off a slight hip pointer, but both cleared pretty early on in the week to play tonight.
Schmidt, last week we had a chance to show his face mask from one of the games that sits in the office of Rich Rodriguez. It's bent. He likes to hit you.
He goes through a face mask a week if he plays the way they expect him to play. And through the middle, Slayton. Nice fake carried out. Fake to Darius Renaud on the end around. And Slayton just across the 40 to set up a 3rd and short, about 2.5.
We had a chance to do West Virginia last week, and watching their offensive line, the way they work together, between the balance of Slayton's running ability and the Pat White arm and running ability, defensively you're really challenged to stay and cover the entire field.
Cincinnati hopes to keep 9 in the box as often as possible tonight, as again White forced to scramble, runs out of room, pulls up, fires, and the pass is brought in by Brandon Miles after Antoine Horton thought he had defensed it, and it's 37 yards. To the Mountaineers' leading receiver, Brandon Miles.
Well, first of all, the amount of time that was bought in the backfield by Pat White to throw, rolling right as a left-hander, and then Miles, it's just remarkable. What a shot to the jaw there. But White gets the ball down the field, and then Miles goes up with a little jump ball drill, beats Horton.
9th catch this year of 20 or more yards for Brandon Miles. So the Mountaineers first down the Bearcat 23. And banging his way inside the 20 to the 18 is Slayton.
I like that. From tackle to tackle, you can't be just a dancer. To be a good runner, you have to have the ability to break the arm tackles. And many times you'll see good young runners with a lot of speed like Slayton. They want to do it with their feet all the time and outrun you. But this guy here can run through you too.
Does not run like a 5'10", 185-pounder. A lot more powerful than you think. And he cuts this one up, drags a tackler inside the 10, and a late flag comes. As Slayton may have West Virginia as we wait for the indication on the marker, set up for 1st and goal. Dominic Ross, the strong safety, the man Slayton was dragging down to the 9.
Face mask, number 39 on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
And the face mask by Jones comes in late, right at the end of the play. You'll see Jones come in, kind of the secondary tackler. But there's that strength that you just mentioned about Slayton running behind his pads. Hard to get to his legs.
Slayton may have a face mask that looks like Owen Schmidt's. A few more of those. So Tywan Jones flagged. First 5 games he didn't score, and he's made up for lost time since. 7 in his last 3. So 1st and goal. The Mountaineers at the 5-yard line on this opening possession of the game. And going in, standing up for the touchdown is Slayton. His 8th of this true freshman year out of Levittown, Pennsylvania. Originally committed to Maryland. They decommitted him. And West Virginia could not have been happier to pick him up, bring him down to Morgantown, and he has the Mountaineers on top 6-0. Pat McAfee has hit all but one of his 29 extra points on the year, and it's 7-0. Slayton showed us his speed, he showed us his power, and comes right at us with his intensity as he gets West Virginia off to a fast start tonight. Steve Slayton had 0 yards in 3 of the Mountaineers' first 4 games. 2 games ago, 188 yards, and tied the Big East record with 6 touchdowns, including all 3 of their overtime scores in West Virginia's 46-44 win over Louisville. And the first touchdown tonight belongs to Slayton. Mike Daniels to the 27, and Cincinnati will have its first possession. And redshirt freshman out of Maysville, Kentucky, Dustin Grutza will lead the Bearcats out. Cincinnati committed him and had to hold on with a late charge coming from his home state, Kentucky Wildcats. He decided to stay a Bearcat. His coordinator, Don Treadwell, says his development really still an ongoing process, and he'll probably keep saying that in the next couple of years, but they're very encouraged with his start. 53% passer, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, but 5 of those were very early, all in the same game. And like most of the rest of the Bearcat freshmen on both sides of the ball, every game you see major development. Bradley Glodar, sophomore tailback from here in Cincinnati, with a first carry. Glodar at 506 yards, their leading rusher. Doug Jones may be the biggest fullback in the country, 282 pounds. Jackson, Ross, Selleck, one of the best tight ends in the nation. And up front, Eastlake, by far their most experienced blocker, 33rd straight start. The rest of that line totals 33 starts.
How about that start there? This is a patient Cincinnati offense. They don't mind on 2nd and 8 running the ball again.
First toss, Dominic Goodman. Another Cincinnati product. True freshman, high school All-America quarterback. West Virginia plays a 3-3-5, and their 3 linemen are Dykes, Hunter, and Wilson. Linebackers are Noshel, Henry, and McLee. And they're always in a nickel if they're in their base set with McCann, Wicks, Lorello, Adai, and Mims.
You know, you mentioned the 3-3, you know, whatever the other number is, but they still have lots of folks that get around the football at the snap. You see 6 in there right now, but they will bunch it. They try to get tight to the scrimmage.
Boots on first down. Again, throws wide. Maybe a yard on the first grab of the night by Derek Ross. Eric Wicks quickly there on him, the strong safety from Pittsburgh. Cincinnati, Craig, at 4-4, 2 wins away from a bowl. If they go, they hope it's at least 20 degrees, because if it's 20 or hotter, it will be better conditions than you saw them play in the Fort Worth Bowl last year.
I'm telling you, last year I had Sean McDonough as my partner. I said, Sean, man, you're going to love Fort Worth. It's going to be warm. We'll play Colonial. The pipes were frozen in the press box. It was terrible.
Although up until then, they said it was pretty nice. Slamming is Greg Moore, who backs up Glodar, their 2nd leading rusher, about 270 yards, 5.5 per carry. Junior from Dayton.
You know what? You'd mentioned it's a young Cincinnati football team. So early on, you think, well, maybe they're just not going to be that good. But you have to think back to the foundation. Mark D'Antonio has really gone out and he's put together a coaching staff that we'll talk about tonight that is consistent. And he's got a foundation of athletes. Rich Rodriguez said, hey, they're as talented as we are.
Only other Ohio college program at a BCS conference, of course, Ohio State. As Brutza picks up the blitz, and with a second effort, this should be a Cincinnati first down on the catch by Ross, and it will be just across midfield. Let's check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, Dave, you're talking about the coaching changes here at Cincinnati. 56 different coaches rolled in here during 10 years with Rick Minter as the head coach, many taking other opportunities in the NFL and some just leaving the program. They say how that hurts them is in recruiting. They want the same guy recruiting the same area, talking to the same kids year in and year out. They think that having that consistency in their offensive staff will help them.
56 in 10 years. That's an average of half or a little better than half your staff turning over every year, Craig, as Goodman makes his 2nd catch. And there's no program that can overcome that lack of continuity.
One of the keys to the Mountaineers' success is Rich Rodriguez keeping them together, right? Now you've got a guy like D'Antonio coming in here who's going to pay his assistants. He's going to try to keep them together, and you can't replace that. Look, every great, successful college coach who wins has a staff that stays together.
2nd down at 5. Quickly into the secondary that time, Glodar, and another Cincinnati first down.
And this Cincinnati offensive line right now is matching up in the middle. They're strong. They're not allowing penetration. And the backs are running with their eyes. Which, you know what it means ultimately? Brutz is not going to have to win it with his arm.
So another first down. This is the first Bearcat possession of the night. Steve Slayton got West Virginia an early 7-0 lead. And the Bearcats are marching on a West Virginia defense that gave up only a total of 129 yards against UConn last week and only 12 on the ground. Goodman. Dominic Goodman, in a lot of ways, may be the benchmark recruit for this program because he comes from a local program, quarterbacked state champion Coleraine High School here in Cincinnati. Great running quarterback who asked to be moved to wide receiver because he figured that was his best shot to play early.
High school All-American, and when you get that type of athlete on your program with that kind of ability to move around, that means you're doing something.
On 2nd and 9, the Mountaineers are all over Greg Moore. They throw him for a loss back to the 41.